Welcome. This video is about GATE 2025 solutions from General Aptitude of Electrical Engineering paper. Let's solve the questions one by one. First question. What is the value of 3 power 81 upon 27 power 4 whole to the power of 1 by 3? This is GATE 1 mark question. Since numerator is raised to the power of 3, let's try to make denominator is also raised to the power of 3. We know that 27 can be written as 3 cube. This can be written as 3 power 81 upon 3 cube whole power 4 whole to the power of 1 by 3. Since we know that a power m whole power n is equal to a power m into n, this equation can be written as 3 power 81 by 3 power 12 whole to the power of 1 by 3. Now we also know that a power m by a power n is equal to a power m minus n. Therefore, let's again rewrite this equation, which is equal to 3 power 81 minus 12 whole to the power of 1 by 3, which is equal to 3 power 69 by 3, which is equal to 3 power 23. Therefore, the answer is 3 power 23. Now let's solve the next question. Question number 2. Scores obtained by two students P and Q in 7 courses are given in table. Find the incorrect statement. This is the GATE 2 mark question. Now, if you observe options carefully, we need to find average score of both students, median score of both students, and also difference between maximum and minimum scores of both students. Now, let's solve them one by one. This is the data. Now, let's calculate the average, median, and difference between maximum and minimum scores of two students P and Q. Now, average score of P. Average value is equal to sum of observations by number of observations. Therefore, average score of P is equal to sum of his scores by total number of subjects, which is equal to 7. Therefore, average score of P is equal to 54.7. Similarly, let us calculate the average score of Q, which is equal to sum of his scores by total number of subjects, which is equal to 56. Now, let's calculate the median scores of both students. To calculate median, first arrange the data in ascending order or descending order. If the number of data points is odd, the median is the middle value. If the number of data points is even, the median is the average of two middle values. So, now let's arrange the scores of P in ascending order to calculate the median. Since the number of observations is equal to 7, which is odd, the median is the middle value. Therefore, median of P is equal to 50. Now, similarly, let us calculate the median score of Q. To calculate this, let's arrange the scores of Q in ascending order and find the middle value, which is equal to 56. Now, let's calculate the difference between maximum and minimum scores of both students. Maximum score minus minimum score of the student P is equal to 89 minus 22, which is equal to 67. Also, maximum score of Q minus minimum score of Q is equal to 81 minus 35, which is equal to 46. Now, let's compare the options and find the correct answer. First option is given that average score of P is less than average score of Q. Let's check that. Now, if you observe, average score of P is less than average score of Q. Therefore, this option is correct. Now let's check the second option. Median score of P is same as the median score of Q. If we observe, median score of P is equal to 50, whereas median score of Q is equal to 56, which is not the same. Therefore, this is not correct. Now let's verify the third option. Difference between maximum and minimum scores of P is greater than the difference between maximum and minimum scores of Q. If we observe the data, difference between maximum score and minimum score of P is equal to 67, which is greater than the difference between maximum score and minimum score of Q, which is equal to 46. Therefore, the statement is also correct. Now let's check the fourth option. Median score and average score of Q are same. Median score of Q is equal to 56 and also average score of Q is equal to 56. Therefore, the statement is also correct. Now, in the question, it is given that find the incorrect statement. Therefore, the correct option is B. Now, let's solve the third question, which is get 2 more question. In the given figure, EF and HJ are coded as 30 and 80 respectively. Which among the following options is most appropriate for the entries marked 1 and 2? Now let's solve the question. To solve this question, we need the alphabet to number code values. Now let's take F. The value for E is 5 and the value for F is 6. Therefore, E is equal to 5 and F is equal to 6. If we observe the given data, EF, which is opposite to 30. To get 30, we need to multiply 5 and 6. Now let's analyze the next data, which is HJ. From the data, we can know that H is equal to 8 and J is equal to 10. It is given as, from the data, it is given as HJ is equal to 80. Therefore, H into J, that is 8 into 10 is equal to 80. Similarly, let us also calculate the value for FG and also find the alphabet for 35. Now let's calculate the value of FG, which is marked as 2. From the data, it is clear that F is equal to 6 and G is equal to 7. Therefore, 6 into 7, which is equal to 42. Similarly, let us calculate the alphabet for the 35, which is marked as 1. If we observe carefully, 35 can be written as 2 ways, which is 5 into 7 and also 7 into 5 within the alphabet number data. If we take 5 into 7, it will become E into G, and if we take 7 into 5, it will become G into E. But if we observe the options carefully, it is given that EG, not G. Therefore, now let us consider this value as EG. Also, the code for entry marked as 2 is 42, which is option C. Therefore, option C is correct. Question number 4, which is 1 mark question. The relation between two variables x and y is given by x plus py plus q is equal to 0. Find the values of p and q. Here it is given graph to solve the question. Now let's solve the question by considering two values. Let us consider minus 2 comma 0 and 0 comma 4 as our points to solve the question. Since in the question it is given that the given equation is x plus py plus q is equal to 0. Now let's substitute the points one by one and find the values of p and q. Substituting minus 2 comma 0 in the given equation gives minus 2 plus p into 0 plus q is equal to 0. From this we can get the value of q which is equal to 2. Similarly, let's also substitute the point 0 comma 4 and find the value of p. Substituting the value of q here, we will get p is equal to minus 1 by 2. Therefore, the correct option is A. P is equal to minus 1 by 2 and q is equal to 2. Now, let's go to the next question. This is get 2 mark question. Spheres of unit diameter are centered at LMN, where LMN take every possible integer values. Therefore, these values L, M and N take only integer values. The distance between two spheres is computed from the center of one sphere to the center of other. Therefore, to calculate the center between two spheres, we need to calculate the distance between center of one sphere to the center of other sphere. For a given sphere, x is the distance to its nearest sphere and y is the distance to its next nearest sphere. Find the value of y by x. To solve this question, let's consider a graph. Since L, M and N can take only positive integer values, which is 0, 0, 0, 1, 1, 0, 1, 1, etc. It is given that unit diameter circle, which is nothing but its diameter is equal to 1. Therefore, radius is equal to 1 by 2, that is 0.5 units. Now, let us consider this circle. The distance to its nearest sphere is this, and the distance to its next nearest sphere is this. Now, we need to calculate the distance x. The distance x is equal to the sum of this circle radius and the sum of this circle radius, which is equal to 0.5 plus 0.5, that is equal to 1 unit. Now, to calculate the distance to its next nearest sphere, we need to consider this square. We know that diagonal is root 2 times the side of the square. Therefore, the distance y is equal to root 2 into 1, that is equal to root 2 units. Therefore, the value of y by x is root 2 by 1, which is equal to root 2. Therefore, the correct answer is C, root 2. Now, let's solve the next question. Question number 6. This is get 2 mark question. In the triangle PQR, the lengths of PT and TR are in the ratio of 3:2. ST is parallel to QR. Two semicircles are drawn with PS and PQ as diameters. Which of the following statement is true about the shaded area PQS? Since we need to find the true statement, we need to calculate the shaded area of semicircle with the diameter PS, and also the area of semicircle with the diameter PQ. Now let's calculate each area. Since the lengths of PT and TR are in the ratio 3:2, the lengths PS and SQ must be in the ratio 3:2, which means the length of PS and PQ are in the ratio 3:5. We also know that if the ratio of diameters of two circles is A is to B, then their radii must be in the ratio A is to B. Now let's calculate the areas of semicircle with the diameter PS and PQ along with the shaded area. We also know that area of semicircle is equal to pi r square by 2. Now let's calculate the area of semicircle with the diameter PS, which is equal to pi r square by 2, where r is equal to 3, which is equal to 9 pi by 2 square units. Now let's calculate the area of semicircle with the diameter PQ, which is equal to pi r square by 2, where r is equal to 5 units and area is equal to 25 pi by 2. Now to calculate the shaded area, we need to calculate the area of semicircle with the diameter PQ and subtract the area of semicircle with the diameter PS, which is equal to 25 pi by 2 minus 9 pi by 2, that is equal to 16 pi by 2. Now let's analyze the options one by one. Option A, shaded area is 16 by 9 times the area of semicircle with the diameter PS. Let's calculate the ratio of shaded area to the area of semicircle with the diameter PS, which is equal to 16 by 9, and therefore option A is correct. Also let's further analyze the other options. Option B, shaded area is equal to area of semicircle with the diameter PS. Both the areas are not equal and hence option B is wrong. Option C, shaded area is 14 by 9 times the area of semicircle with the diameter PS. Now let's calculate the ratio of shaded area to the area of semicircle with the diameter PS, which is equal to 16 by 9. Therefore option C is also wrong. Option D, shaded area is 14 by 25 times the area of semicircle with the diameter PQ. Now let's calculate the ratio of shaded area to the area of semicircle with the diameter PQ, which is equal to 16 by 25. Therefore option D is also wrong. Therefore option A is correct. Question number 7. This is gate 1 mark question. Here column 1 and column 2 are given. Each row of column 1 has 3 items and each item is represented by a circle in column 2. Arrangement of circles in column 2 represents the relationship among the items in column 1. We need to find the appropriate option which matches the column 1 and column 2. Let's analyze column 1. Row number 1, animals, zebra, giraffe. We know that zebra and giraffe belongs to animals, but zebra and giraffe are different. Therefore, we can map this to option Q. Row number 2, director, producer, actor. A person can be director, producer, actor, or the combination of any two, and also the combination of all three. Therefore, this can be mapped to R. Row number 3, word, sentence, novel. We know that sentence contains words and a novel contains sentence. Therefore, this can be mapped to S. Row number 4, pianist, guitarist, instrumentalist. We know that a person can be pianist or guitarist or the both, but they belong to instrumentalist. Therefore, this can be mapped to option P in column number 2. Therefore, option B is correct. Question number 8. Kavya dash go to work yesterday as she dash feeling well. Select the most appropriate option to complete the above sentence. Now, let's analyze the options. The verb did is past tense of do. It is used to talk about completed actions or habits in the past. The verb would is past tense of will. Would is a modal verb used to express a variety of meanings related to past intentions, habitual actions, or conditional situations. Verbs was and were are the past tense forms of the verb to be. Was is used with singular subjects, while were is used with plural subjects. Could is the past tense of the modal verb can. It is used to express the past abilities, possibilities, or requests. Now, if we observe the question, it is given that Kavya dash go to work yesterday. It's her possibility that she can go to work or she could not go to work. Therefore, since here possibility is coming into picture, we need to use could. Kavya could not go to work yesterday as she dash feeling well. Since it is given yesterday here, yesterday is past tense, therefore we should use was here. Therefore, option D is correct. Kavya could not go to work yesterday as she wasn't feeling well. Question number 9, which is get one more question. Good is to evil, whereas Jinan is to dash. Select the most appropriate option to complete the analogy. We need to know the meanings of the options so that we can choose the appropriate option. Counterfeit, which means a fraudulent imitation. Contraband, which means smuggled goods. Counterfoil, which means part of a check that is retained as a record. Counterpart, which means one that closely resembles another. Now let's analyze the question. It is given that good is to evil, which means good and evil are opposite. So that we need to find the word which is opposite to the word genuine. From the options, the word counterfeit seems to appropriately suit the word which is opposite to the word genuine. Therefore, option A is correct. Now let's go to next question. Question number 10, which is get two more question. Identify the option that has the most appropriate sequence such that a coherent paragraph is formed. We need to carefully study the given sentences and find the most appropriate sequence such that a coherent paragraph is formed. After analyzing the given sentences, we can conclude that statement Q comes first, and then statement S, and then statement R, and finally statement P, which is nothing but Q, S, R, P, which is option C. With this, all the general aptitude questions from the GATE electrical engineering paper has been solved. Thank you.